Have you ever been to Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps, where neon lights flash and slot machines call your name? But have you ever risked everything, your car, your home, all you own, on one last bet, then paused for a moment to wonder, who's out there sleeping on the streets while the casinos overflow with cash? While many chase the dream of striking it rich, thousands face a nightmare far darker. No home, no safety, no hope. How can such a powerful city allow so many to live in such desperate conditions? This isn't the story they tell on the tourist brochures, but it's the harsh reality of Las Vegas today. Today, let me take you on a journey to explore the darker side of life here. Don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to join us on the upcoming adventures. Las Vegas, city of contrasts. Las Vegas, known as the City of Dreams, hides a harsh reality just beyond its bright lights. Nearly 8,000 people here are homeless, a 20% rise in just 1 year. While the Strip dazzles with luxury and entertainment, many locals struggle with soaring housing costs and weak social support. The gap between wealth and poverty is stark, with some only one missed paycheck away from losing everything. This city reveals the fragile side of the American dream, where hope and hardship often live side by side. Behind the neon glow, thousands fight daily to survive in a place that promises opportunity but delivers struggle. The reality of homelessness in Oregon. The housing crisis, where dreams get put on hold. Las Vegas, a city famous for its dazzling lights and non-stop entertainment, is facing a stark reality behind the scenes, a severe shortage of affordable housing. For every 100 low-income renters, there are only 14 affordable units available. That means thousands of residents are scrambling for scarce housing options, driving up rents well beyond what many can afford. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment now tops $1,200 per month, a steep climb that far outpaces the modest raises workers see in their paychecks. This is especially tough for employees in the hospitality and service industries, who form the backbone of Vegas' economy. Many live paycheck to paycheck, stretching every dollar just to cover rent. One unexpected expense, a car repair, a sudden illness, or job loss, can easily push a family to the brink of homelessness. Meanwhile, the gap between the wealthy and the struggling widens as the booming tourism, casino, and luxury real estate industries soak up most of the city's wealth, leaving little behind for those most in need. Harsh reality in real life. Mental health and substance abuse are major challenges faced by a large portion of the homeless population in Las Vegas. In fact, nearly 2/3 of people experiencing homelessness struggle with some form of mental illness or addiction. Common conditions include schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. These issues don't just exist side by side. They feed into each other, creating a complex and difficult cycle to break. Untreated mental health problems often lead individuals down a path of substance abuse as they try to cope with overwhelming symptoms and emotional pain. Unfortunately, addiction then worsens their situation, making it nearly impossible to maintain stable housing or employment. This vicious cycle is one of the driving forces behind the growing number of homeless in Las Vegas. Access to proper healthcare services is another major barrier. Many people facing homelessness find it incredibly difficult to get the consistent treatment they need. Clinics and support centers are often overwhelmed, and long waiting lists mean many are left without timely help. On top of that, the stigma surrounding mental illness and addiction creates social isolation, discouraging people from seeking care in the first place. This combination of untreated health issues, limited access to care, and societal judgment deepens the challenges for those already struggling on the streets. It highlights how complex and multi-layered the problem of homelessness truly is, especially for the homeless in Las Vegas, where these factors intertwine amid a city known more for its bright lights than its social support systems. Impacts on Oregon's society and economy. Famously known for its vibrant tourism and entertainment industries, Las Vegas was hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, As flights stopped and tourists vanished, thousands of workers in hospitality, hotels, and restaurants lost their jobs almost overnight. The city's heavy dependence on tourism made it extremely vulnerable to such a sudden economic shock. Programs like unemployment benefits and eviction moratoriums acted as lifelines for many families and individuals during the crisis. But once these protections ended, a wave of people losing their homes quickly followed. Those who were already struggling financially found themselves without shelter, pushing many into homelessness. The impact of the pandemic wasn't just economic. Prolonged stress, isolation, and loss worsened mental health problems across the community. Substance abuse rates climbed among the homeless population, while access to healthcare and mental health support became even more limited due to overwhelmed clinics and scarce resources. Even as Las Vegas slowly recovers, the pandemic's long-term effects continue to deepen the city's existing homelessness crisis. Tackling these challenges requires ongoing cooperation between social organizations, government agencies, and local communities. The goal is to not only help people regain stable housing, but also provide comprehensive support for their mental health and overall well-being. Proposed solution and call to action. Living on the streets of Las Vegas is a daily battle against some of the harshest conditions imaginable. The city's desert climate means summer temperatures regularly soar above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, turning sidewalks and parking lots into virtual ovens. Without access to proper shelter, shade, or water, those experiencing homelessness face serious risks like heat exhaustion and dehydration. But it's not just the blistering heat they have to worry about. When the sun sets, the desert can get brutally cold, with nighttime temperatures dropping sharply during the winter months. For people sleeping outdoors, this temperature swing can be life-threatening, especially without adequate clothing or blankets. Shelters and aid centers do exist, but they are often overwhelmed. With limited beds and resources, many are turned away or left to wait in long lines, forced to face the elements on their own. This shortage leaves too many vulnerable people exposed to dangers they cannot control. Beyond the weather, life on the streets also means dealing with the constant threat of violence and theft. Women are especially at risk, facing higher chances of assault and even human trafficking. The struggle to find safety, food, and basic necessities is relentless. Addressing this crisis means not only increasing shelter capacity, but also improving protections and support for those most at risk. The state of mole people. A hidden world many don't see. The underground tunnels where a group of homeless individuals, often called the mole people, have made their home. These sprawling flood control tunnels provide shelter from the chaos above, but come with serious risks of their own. The conditions are harsh and unsanitary, and sudden flash floods can turn these tunnels into dangerous traps with little warning. Despite the dangers, many choose to live underground as a way to escape violence, harsh weather, and constant police crackdowns on street encampments. For some, the tunnels offer a sense of relative safety and community that's hard to find elsewhere. But life beneath the city's surface is a daily struggle for survival. Thankfully, local charities and outreach organizations have stepped in to support these underground residents. Groups regularly visit the tunnels, providing medical care, food, and essential supplies. They also work to connect residents with pathways out of homelessness, including access to housing and addiction recovery programs. Still, the challenges remain huge. Limited resources and the hidden nature of this population make it difficult to reach everyone who needs help. Yet the efforts of these organizations bring a glimmer of hope to a group often forgotten by the world above. Social prejudice and discrimination. Homeless people don't choose a life of wandering and despair. They are individuals crushed by harsh realities despite fighting with every ounce of strength they have. Misconceptions and stigma around homelessness remain one of the biggest barriers to addressing the crisis in cities like Las Vegas. Many people wrongly assume that those experiencing homelessness are lazy or simply unwilling to help themselves. This oversimplified view ignores the complex realities that push people onto the streets, from economic hardship to mental health struggles. Unfortunately, this stigma does more than just misrepresent. It actively increases isolation for homeless individuals. Facing judgment from society, it becomes even harder for them to access jobs, secure housing, or get needed medical care. When the public sees homelessness as a personal failing rather than a systemic issue, support and compassion often fall short. Because of the fear of being labeled or treated unfairly, some homeless people go to great lengths to hide their situation. They might avoid shelters or services altogether, worried about being shunned or discriminated against. This invisibility only makes it harder for outreach programs and social services to reach those in need. Breaking down these stereotypes is essential. Raising awareness and promoting empathy can help open doors for the homeless community, creating a more supportive environment where people feel safe asking for help. Only by challenging these harmful beliefs can we start to build real solutions and ensure that everyone has access to the resources and dignity they deserve. The impacts of homelessness, health and medical effects. For many homeless people in Las Vegas, regular health care is out of reach. Instead of visiting a doctor for routine checkups or managing chronic conditions, a large portion only turns to medical services when they've reached a breaking point and end up in the emergency room. Living without stable shelter makes managing chronic illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, and respiratory diseases extremely difficult. Infectious diseases such as tuberculosis and skin infections spread more easily in unsanitary conditions, creating ongoing public health risks. Mental health issues add another layer of challenge. Many suffer from untreated conditions like anxiety, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. This lack of support makes it harder to escape homelessness. Without stable health, finding and keeping a job or housing becomes almost impossible. Minor health problems can escalate into emergencies, forcing people to seek help only when critical. Closing these healthcare gaps is vital, not only for the individual's well-being, but for the entire community. Expanding access to primary care, mental health services, and hygiene resources can ease the pressure on emergency rooms and offer homeless individuals a real chance to rebuild their lives. Impact on community and tourism. Homelessness in Las Vegas isn't just a challenge for those living on the streets. It's a growing concern for the community and the city's tourism industry. Public spaces like parks, sidewalks, and plazas often become places where homeless individuals seek shelter or rest, which can create tension between residents, visitors, and those experiencing homelessness. For tourists expecting a carefree getaway, encountering large homeless encampments can be jarring, sometimes impacting their overall experience. This visibility of homelessness highlights a much deeper issue. That growing divide between the wealthy elite and those left behind stands out starkly in a city renowned for its luxury and extravagance. The stark contrast between the glitzy casinos and the tents pitched nearby sends a powerful message about inequality. It's a reminder that beneath the bright lights, many people are struggling just to get by. Additionally, areas with concentrated homeless populations can see a rise in petty crimes and disorderly conduct. Limited access to services and resources sometimes pushes individuals toward survival tactics that can lead to conflicts or public disturbances. This increase in small-scale crime and chaotic situations poses challenges for law enforcement and affects community safety. All of these factors combined put pressure on Las Vegas's public spaces and complicate efforts to maintain a welcoming environment for everyone. The city's image, built on entertainment and glamour, is at odds with the realities on the ground. It's clear that addressing homelessness is not just a social responsibility, it's also key to preserving Las Vegas as a top tourist destination. Finding effective solutions requires collaboration between local government, social service providers, and community members to create safer, more supportive spaces. Balancing compassion with public safety is critical in tackling the complexities of homelessness while ensuring Las Vegas remains a vibrant city for visitors and residents alike. Efforts and solutions existing in Las Vegas. The role of government and nonprofit organizations. Addressing homelessness in Las Vegas is a significant challenge. Both government and nonprofits work hard to offer temporary relief and support. During the harsh desert winters, emergency shelters open to provide safe places to sleep, warm blankets, and hot meals, helping many survive freezing nights. One notable nonprofit, Shine a Light, serves the mole people, those living in underground flood tunnels facing extreme conditions. Their outreach teams deliver essential medical care, supplies, and pathways to housing and recovery, highlighting a hidden crisis many never see. Another vital resource is the Courtyard Homeless Resource Center, which offers a holistic approach by combining temporary housing with healthcare and job training. Their goal is to help individuals regain stability not just through shelter, but by equipping them with skills and medical support to rebuild their lives. Despite these efforts, challenges remain. Funding is limited, shelters often reach capacity, and demand exceeds what the system can handle. Staffing shortages and budget constraints slow program expansion, making it hard to keep up with needs. Las Vegas's response shows the complexity of homelessness. While temporary support is essential, long-term solutions require more funding, increased housing options, and stronger cooperation between government and nonprofits. Until then, shelters and outreach programs remain critical, offering hope and care to those who need it most. The community members are stepping up in small but meaningful ways to support those experiencing homelessness. Volunteer efforts, fundraising drives, and grassroots initiatives provide crucial lifelines to individuals struggling on the streets. These acts of kindness, while modest, create pockets of hope and stability amid the city's ongoing crisis. One heartwarming example is the group of volunteers who offer free haircuts to the homeless, giving them not just a fresh look, but also a boost of dignity and confidence. Similarly, local organizations regularly distribute hot meals and clothing, ensuring basic needs are met when formal shelters are full or out of reach. These small acts remind us that change often starts with community compassion. They bring people together and show those affected that they are not forgotten. While systemic solutions are essential, the role of volunteers and donors remains vital in filling gaps and providing immediate relief. In a city famed for its dazzling lights and non-stop vibrant energy, these quiet acts shine like a beacon of compassion, proving that sometimes the most profound impact comes from simple gestures of kindness and connection. Addressing homelessness in Las Vegas requires more than quick fixes. It demands a comprehensive, long-term approach that tackles the root causes head-on. One of the biggest challenges is the severe shortage of affordable housing. Expanding the supply of low-income apartments is crucial to give people a real chance at stable living situations, rather than temporary shelters or the streets. But housing alone won't solve the problem. Mental health and addiction issues are deeply intertwined with homelessness, and the city must boost access to quality healthcare services. This means expanding mental health programs and addiction treatment options so that people can get the support they need to rebuild their lives. Another important piece of the puzzle is changing how society views homelessness. Stigma and misunderstanding often isolate those affected, making it harder for them to seek help or find employment. Raising awareness and fostering empathy within the community can break down these barriers and encourage a more supportive environment. In short, tackling homelessness in Las Vegas calls for a coordinated effort across housing, healthcare, social services, and community education. It's about building a safety net that catches people before they fall too far and then helps lift them back up. Only with sustained commitment and compassion can the city hope to transform lives and truly make a difference in this ongoing crisis. Overview of homelessness in other major U.S. cities. Homelessness remains one of the most pressing social issues confronting major cities across the United States. From the West Coast to the East Coast, urban centers are grappling with rising numbers of individuals and families without stable housing. While each city has its unique challenges shaped by local economies and policies, The overall picture points to a national problem that requires both immediate relief and long-term strategies. They all are scrambling to find solutions, but as homelessness grows, it's clear that addressing this crisis demands not only more resources, but also deeper coordination among government agencies, nonprofits, and communities. Denver. Affordable housing and vulnerable families. Denver faces a homelessness crisis with about 10,000 people affected. Rent prices have surged, averaging $2,100 for a one-bedroom, unaffordable for many low-income residents. This shortage forces people into overcrowded shelters or onto the streets. Single-parent families, especially mothers, face added trauma and instability. Healthcare and social services are stretched thin, limiting access to mental health and addiction treatment. Despite investments in affordable housing, supply remains insufficient. Effective solutions require combining housing with comprehensive support tailored to the most vulnerable. San Diego. High costs and incomplete solutions. San Diego struggles with homelessness affecting about 10,200 individuals. High living costs, with median home prices near $900,000 and rents over $2,500, put housing out of reach for many. The city often clears homeless camps, which displaces people without addressing root causes. Vulnerable groups like veterans and those with mental health or addiction issues face ongoing instability. Despite expanding affordable housing and services, demand far exceeds supply. Balancing safety, compassion, and long-term strategies remains challenging. Seattle. Rising costs and holistic support. Seattle's tech boom has driven rents to around $2,600 for a one-bedroom, contributing to roughly 14,400 homeless people. The city moved from clearing camps to investing in holistic programs offering mental health care, job training, and medical services. Targeted support helps women, especially abuse survivors and single mothers, find stability. Yet, affordable housing supply still lags behind demand. Seattle continues to seek sustainable solutions amid rising economic inequality. Los Angeles. Skid Row crisis. Los Angeles has about 71,000 homeless individuals, with Skid Row symbolizing the crisis, a dense area of tents and shelters in poor conditions. The city's high rents, averaging $2,800 for a one-bedroom, worsen homelessness. Rising crime and safety concerns add to the struggle. Billions have been spent on shelters and services, but demand outpaces supply. Women and families are particularly vulnerable. LA's size and scale complicate coordinated efforts, highlighting the need for more housing and wraparound services. New York City. Largest homeless population. New York City has the nation's largest homeless population, over 88,000 people. Skyrocketing rents averaging $4,000 make affordable housing nearly impossible. Increased migration strains an already overcrowded shelter system, with many living in subways or streets. Women face higher risks due to limited safe spaces. Despite programs to expand shelters and housing, demand exceeds resources. Poor agency coordination and underfunded mental health services hinder progress. NYC's crisis calls for integrated housing, healthcare, and social support solutions. Conclusion. Homelessness challenges the very fabric of our society, stretching across individual stories and the collective community. Las Vegas and other large cities are at a crossroads, facing a humanitarian crisis that can't be solved overnight. Despite ongoing efforts, the need for more resources, better policies, and public empathy is undeniable. But here's the hard question. How often do we look the other way? When was the last time you saw someone struggling and truly stopped to consider their story? I invite you to reflect and share your perspective below. How can we, together, rewrite this story?